Life's complicated. Papa Squat and JR's Media Mud Bath.
Security clearance level 3 or above is required to access files.
Media News, episode 119, Stalled in Motion.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video on house. It's time for
Cracked Rib Media News.
Cracked Rib Media News, which is coming to you from Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all new comics are 15% off every day for everyone, including DC Comics, and this is going to be an all DC Media News.
Media News, Comic Book Man.
And
what would DC Media News be without a Dark Knight story?
And that's what we're leading off with, The Dark Knight. They're
He
making
rises.
a third movie, and he's
If
rising.
you haven't heard,
He's right. And why are they calling it? Have they ever said why they're calling it Rising? I mean, is he getting a hard on, or is he getting out of bed? Which is it?
he's sleepy. He's a sleepy Dark Knight.
Why is he rising?
Well, because if we remember the end of the last film, Batman has gone on the run
Yes, he has.
from the loss, which means
He's
he has
on the
fallen.
lam.
He
He's
has
on the lam.
fallen as his notion of a hero, so he needs to rise again.
Of course, in his early days, which I'm sure Mr. Nolan knows about because he's been mining the hell out of it. In his, at least as far as tone goes, Batman was not exactly on the side of the law.
No, he packed
was
heat
a-
for the first year
He
of
was
his
a
existence.
vigilante.
Yeah, he packed a gun.
He was a vigilante, like Spider-Man. Cops were after him.
Exactly. But the big rumor here is that the storyline for Dark Knight Rises will follow somewhat closely to Doug Moench's storyline Prey,
Oh, okay. That was from Legends of the Dark Knight.
from one of the first storylines.
Yeah, I think it was their first story arc.
which you told me is now out of print. So happy
Yeah.
hunting on eBay, kids.
Oh, DC will put it back in
Oh
print,
yeah, it'll be
I'm
back
sure.
in print. It makes sense that it follows that storyline because, like we just said, the last film ended with Batman being on the run from the law. Prey is about a task force set up by Professor Hugo Strange.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Exactly. Who's a criminal psychologist, I guess, in that storyline, but he's wacky.
Yeah, he's
wacky.
wacky. Oh.
And he convinces Commissioner Gordon to start this task force to go after Batman. Commissioner Gordon has to somehow maintain his relationship with Batman
Yep.
while heading this task force, so it becomes that sort of dynamic as well. It's an interesting storyline to take on. That storyline also involved Catwoman, as I recall.
Maybe
In
I don't
a s-
remember. I don't.
in-
It might have. I don't remember.
in a
It would
sort
be
of-
easy enough to write her into that.
Well, it's in a sort of sideline kind of way she was
Right.
involved in that storyline. So this kind of fits with the whole concept. And we've already heard that Hugo Strange is sort of rumored to be the villain of this piece, too.
Yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar with Hugo Strange, because he's never been in a movie or anything, and he's only had a handful of appearances in the comics, especially since the Golden Age.
Yeah.
Of course, the Marshall Rogers and Steve
Oh, yeah.
Englehart was where he was reintroduced back in the late 70s, and then he showed up a couple of times since then. Hugo Strange was a psychiatrist.
Yes.
Who had a fascination with Batman, and when he found out who Batman was, Bruce Wayne, he took on Bruce Wayne's personality and became Bruce Wayne, and who became Batman. So the psychiatrist
Yes.
becomes Bruce, who becomes Batman, who is Hugo Strange, and
He
he's
ultimately-
not right in the head.
Well, he ultimately planned on killing Batman and then would assume the identity
Right.
of Batman. And that's,
Right.
again, that's an interesting take for Nolan to go with. Not going with the obvious Penguin, Riddler.
Yeah, you know what? I'd much rather see Hugo Strange because he's never been done before, and he's
Yeah.
virgin territory, sort of like Ra's al Ghul was in the first one.
Exactly.
He's virgin territory, and you can do a lot of interesting stuff. with him.
Anything he wants to do with him, apparently following this storyline. So, Comic Book Man, our next story
Yes.
sort of has a tie to this last one.
Yes.
Now that Chris Nolan's going to start shooting Dark Knight Rises,
He has another movie that he's
he
working
has
on for
another
DC.
project, but he is a very singular-minded director. When he gets involved in starting to shoot a project,
Yes.
anything else he sort of leaves in other hands, which is what's happened with Superman Reborn, or whatever it's going to be called.
He's leaving?
Here's what's happened. He has hired his director.
Yeah.
Himself and his brother and David Goyer have finished the script. The script is done. All the crew have been hired. So Chris Nolan has said to Zack Snyder, "This is your baby. I'm out of here."
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Nolan's going to be concentrating on Batman, while Zack Snyder will be concentrating fully on Superman. So
Okay.
Nolan's work here is done.
And I'll be concentrating on Wonder Woman.
Yes, like we all are.
Have they had any word yet on casting?
No, well, Zack Snyder, the rumor
I know they're
is
being cagey and talking, sort of sideways about it.
sort of sideways. Of course, we know that the concept here is that they want an unknown between the ages of 28 and 32, which is a good age range as far as I'm concerned. The rumor is that Snyder's Watchmen actor Matthew Good, who played Ozymandias in Watchmen,
The blonde German guy.
is his pick to play Superman. Now, a lot of you who are going to Google or Wikipedia Matthew Good are going to look at him and say, man, he'd make a great Clark Kent, but he's awfully scrawny for Superman.
Yeah.
Not to worry, because the other rumor is...
Yeah, I've heard this, and this is goofy.
Is that Zack is going to go the Green Lantern route, and Superman's costume will be CG.
That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea.
For those of you
I don't see that credibly coming off.
If you've seen the Green Lantern trailer, which is a little jokey for my taste, but that's another story, the costume looks fine. But it works in that context because it's a ring power generated costume.
Right.
Can
the
you
ring,
pull
the
it
ring,
off?
the ring generates the costume, so you can sort of get away with that because the ring is generating it. So it could be a little bit armor, a little bit plasticky, a little bit whatever.
Can you make it work with a real costume?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Don't know. So
don't know.
there it is.
I'm personally, I'm not crazy about it because that's getting away from the whole Chris Reeves. Just get an actor, have him work out a little bit. He doesn't have to Arnold Schwarzenegger himself up, but as long as he tones himself up and builds himself up a little bit, and you have a decent costume that works with the actor, you know, you can pull it off like you did with Chris Reeves. Chris Reeves was not, you know, an Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilder, Mr. Universe type, but he sold the character with the amount of work he did.
Well,
do.
that was all persona. Chris Reeves was born to play that part.
too.
But now there's been some talk about what the storyline is in this thing. The latest is that Superman has to use some tremendous abilities in West Africa. He has to intervene in West Africa. Something goes horribly amiss, and he returns to Smallville to sort of contemplate his origins and why he is a hero to begin with. So that's the skeleton you're hanging the storyline.
Which is fine. It sounds okay. It all depends on what they do with it. Just don't have Luthor in it.
Yeah, we can
please.
really do without Lex Luthor.
We can go without Luthor for a film.
You can
Anyone
make
else.
a Superman movie without Lex Luthor in it.
I mean, as wonderful as Luthor is, give him a rest. Give him a rest.
Yep.
We've
more
got
DC
one
story.
One more DC story, and that involves Smallville, which is leaving the WB. And there's been a lot, or CW. I'm sorry.
That's
CW.
okay.
It used to be WB, now CW. But there's a hole there in the schedule. If you're Warner's, and you know Walking Dead is what are they calling it? The best new show on television this year.
According to Entertainment Weekly.
According to Entertainment Weekly this week, and of course Lock and Key's been snatched up by Fox, and Warner's is sitting there saying, well, what are we going to put in CW?
We need a superhero show.
We've talked about Sandman. We've talked about Sandman before, but there's another one in the batter's box, which was a surprise to me, that they're apparently thinking about going with.
Raven from Teen Titans.
And just Raven by herself, not the Teen Titans.
Not the Teen Titans.
Just Raven by herself.
Well, when you get into Teen Titans, a group, you're talking about some...
Yeah, but you'll assume there'll be crossovers.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, Beast
maybe
Boy
so.
will probably show up or something. But I mean, if they do,
but
if they go that
this
route.
would be a live-action primetime series for the CW, so we shall see.
Would it be the same team that's doing Smallville or a different
team? I doubt
team?
it. I think those guys are going to move on after 10 years in the superhero game. I think they're probably looking to move on. Nothing's been said about that, so don't quote me on it. But my guess is it would be a completely different creative team.
The only reason I ask is they did Birds of Prey, which was a stellar 8 episodes, and then out the door.
Which, wasn't a bad show. At least they wore costumes in the bloody thing.
No, well, sort of, kind of.
Well, yeah.
They sort of, kind of did, sort of. Really, sort of, kind of. But, well, outside of the Batgirl costume in the pilot, I mean, that was the last you saw of a costume.
Yeah.
Unless you can't go into Fredericks of Hollywood.
Lessons
and pick
learned.
Up
Maybe they're a little clearer on the concepts.
It could
now.
be. Might be the concepts are.
Well, I mean, what's Raven? She wears a cloak and a big hood over her head.
All I know
there's
is
your
that's
costume.
so Raven. That's all I care about. Is that on now? Because I need to go.
No, but Hannah Montana is.
Yeah.
And speaking of Hannah Montana's biggest fan is Sarah.
Yes.
And Sarah is the one who's going to tell you where you can go to read all of his reviews and all of Bo's media news. Sarah, take it away.
Stop watching Hannah Montana and tell us.
It stood the test of time, but failed basic English. www.myalternatereality.com.
Now that we've thrown Sarah under the bus, be sure to go to the store's website and check out all of his reviews and all of Bo's news. And until next time, this is Comic Book Man.
And it's JR saying, jingle
bells,
the way.
Jingle bell. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
I'm wondering, is it really such a good idea to jingle all the way?
Well, what the hell? As long as you're having a good time. Happy holidays, everybody. And until next time, bye! The December heroes of the month this month are The Men Without Fear, Black Panther, and Daredevil. All month long here at Alternate Reality, all of my Black Panther and Daredevil trade paperbacks and back issues will be 25% off all month long. All my soft covers, all my hard covers, all my essentials, all my masterworks, and of course all the back issues for both Matt Murdock's Daredevil and T'Challa's Black Panther are going to be 25% off all month long. Stop on down. You don't want to miss it. Get your fill of The Men Without Fear. Alternate Reality is located at 3149 West 111th Street. That's the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in Chicago, the beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood neighborhood. You can always reach us at 773-881-HERO or at the store's website, www.myalternatereality.com.